Okay, so we're here today to kind of get a little reading on you. And if you have any questions that you want to ask, like you can stop me and ask and make comments. Were you, correct me if I'm wrong, were you trying to connect with somebody like on the other side?
Not really. I was just curious because so I had a like 11-minute tarot card reading done in New Orleans.
Oh, wow.
And when I was there, they had told me that somebody was with me. And it's kind of what brought my interest into this. And then I had Reiki done, and I never told the Reiki lady about this, and I didn't tell her like who. And then she had brought up that this person was there as well. So I guess I'm not looking to connect with them. I just was curious if that happened with you ever. So if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'm cool.
Okay, okay, okay. Do you have any general questions while I'm pulling cards? Like a lot of people ask about career finances, relationships is a big one you see me do on TikTok. But you can literally ask about anything. Like you can even ask me questions. This is your reading, your time that you paid for
Mhm.
me. I will answer to the best of my ability. If there's something I really don't know, I will be honest and be like, I don't know, but I can find you somebody I highly recommend
Okay.
or a resource.
Okay.
A
I
big
think
a
ju-
resource.
just like the general, obviously, um, like you mentioned, just like the obvious work career. That's kind of lesser. Like I feel really comfortable with career right now, but it's not, yeah. Um, and then probably health and relationships.
Oops. Got a lot of cards jumping. Okay. All right. So I do a mixture of tarot and oracle cards, just so you know. The oracle cards seem to help clients weave a better picture because, for whatever reason, a lot of people think tarot is intimidating. I don't because I read it. I can interpret it. So anyway, tarot is not like 1000% predictive. Yes, everything is set in stone. I can give you a timeline and I can say if you make these choices, you have a likely outcome of this. But everybody has free will. Everything can change very, very quickly. So just be mindful of that. And not every tarot reader will subscribe to that theory, and that's okay. That's my personal opinion with readings for me and readings that I've done for other clients. So when we look at career, like we'll just go down the line as we come in for questions. Do you have a gentleman that's around you, like kind of a taller gentleman? Because if you haven't heard of this guy, then he's stepping forward. So everybody's slotted with a certain amount of dead people. Like everybody's psychic and everybody has kind of like, I call it kind of like a procession, a line of like people that are just kind of around you. These can be relatives, loved ones, past like friends, or even people from past lives, and particularly spirit guides. Okay, he's correcting me. This isn't like a male spirit guide, and he kind of stands really tall, and he looks very like, how do I say it's like kind of country, but like put together. Like he has a white collared shirt and jeans and a little bit of like cowboy hat. Like he stands guard over you and he watches you and he
And this person is past.
so I feel like he is a spirit guide. Yeah,
I don't know who that would be.
that's fine. That's fine. He's willing to work with you. He's willing to come forward and be with you. I don't know how like into witchiness and woo woo you are, but everybody does have spirit guides, and you can kind of call on them and work with them. And how he presents to me can be different than how he presents to you. And my best a piece of advice to come like to try and connect with that is to do like some meditation practices. And this can be 5 minutes a day, 2 minutes a day, like whatever. But he comes forward, and I don't, do you often feel like scatterbrained? Because he's talking about like, I keep her centered, focused, and driven.
Hmm.
Like he is kind of a driving force to keep you like focused here instead of here, there, and everywhere.
Okay.
Keeps you organized, if that makes sense.
Okay. It's interesting. It's just interesting. I'm just taking it in. And yes, I am ADD. And so I'm all over the place all the time.
He said he keeps you focused because, if we get too scatterbrained, he was like, she gets overwhelmed and then she cries.
Okay. Hmm. Interesting.
That's fun. That's fun. I like that. So, sorry, they stopped me really hard and I had to give that one. Um, so you got the Son of Wands for work and career. And I think is this like a remote job? Is this something where you have like a desk and you're sitting at a computer a lot and you're just like speaking with people all the time?
I um
Because this
I
kind of new.
I have my job isn't necessarily remote. I do have a desk job. Um and but I like go to the office at least 4 days a week.
But you have the option to kind of like chill at least one day.
Yeah, I work from home every Friday.
Okay. Okay. So I think I mean, this is a good start for you. Somebody comes in and talks about movement up the ladder. Like, I do think that if you want to stay here, like, there's a good possibility for you to move up. And I think you'll be like, this is like a good home for you for right now.
Okay.
I don't know if you want this to be your forever career, and you can choose to like leave tomorrow if you want, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but this has a lot of good potential for you.
Good.
So the Ace of Swords comes in and talks a lot about your mental health and how we just need to speak positive of each other, you to yourself, um, not you to other people, because I'm sure you're a perfectly nice person. But I feel like the inward speak just needs to like improve a little bit. And the Ace of Swords really also talks about anything you're wanting to do. You need to have like plans. Like, say you want to have a vacation, you need to be thinking about it now, even if your vacation is in the summer. This is going to be a big moment and opportunity these next couple months to really plan what your 2025 is going to look like.
Yeah.
And sometimes that might be a little difficult. But I think it's going to be a really good year overall. But mental health really needs to take a priority
Okay.
this year. Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah, it does.
So I think you're going to be okay. But you've got like really good cards. I wouldn't say like this is bad. So the Ten of Cups comes in, and the cups really talk about our emotion and relationships. Okay. So I don't know if you're like currently in a relationship or you're seeking a relationship, but there's a really good potential for it to be good and secure. They're talking a lot about being open and honest with your vulnerabilities in your space as far as being in a relationship. And I think that's where the Ace of Swords was also like, hey, we need to be communicating of our needs and like, don't be afraid of that. There's nothing to be shamed about that for.
Okay.
Does that make sense as far as like relationships and love and all of that?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you have any questions, you can stop me.
Okay. Okay. I'm just letting you go right now.
Okay.
I can always come back, right?
Yeah.
Something? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. You can this is not a like one and done. And that's why I like kind of pause as I'm going through and I'm like, do you need to do comments or do you have questions
Yeah.
or
Okay.
as we're going in? So Two of Cups also comes in for the relationships. This is like you gotta have a person that is working with you, that's gonna grow with you, not in opposition of you. Okay. And I don't know if you're like currently in a relationship or you're looking for that, but we need to have somebody who is going to be supportive and
Mm.
supportive of you in a way like they're really talking about like supportive in a way where you're like you don't feel intimidated or like any type of shame by that. Like you can be your best self and your worst self. And that's kind of what you need. And also, whenever we look at this card, we talk about like a collaborative effort with the Two of Cups. This comes in, and whenever you're in like a workspace environment, you are going to have like projects and team working things that happen, but it's going to be good. Because I know some people are like, oh my God, a team project. Like, ugh. But I think that's going to be finding the right people. And I think that's going to also like start to give you some success at
Okay.
work. Is these
Okay.
team projects and presentations like in there? I'm seeing like money fall. So I think 2025 is going to be a good money year for you. And you're
Good.
saying a good saving year. Are you trying to buy a house?
I bought a house 2 years ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. 'Cause they're like the money and then the house, the money and then the house. So I'm like, maybe she's trying to buy a house. But I think that's where, because you just own it by yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's where the career is needing to come in and like we kind of like need to make more money to sustain this because you got this and like the economy sucks right now and everything is terrible. But I see success moving up and like the harder times are gonna be like ending a little bit.
Okay.
Um, and I'm gonna talk about some oracle cards that you pulled in correspondence with these. So your first one is you can't really see that. It's the Moonology deck, and that is the answers you need are coming. So I really like that for you because if you had like strong questions or you were just curious, like this is a good reading to be in, and that's awesome. So do you have any goal, like, do you have any like weird, I call them like Delulu goals, like your most delusional thing that you could ever think of that you could be successful at? Like, we got to hold on to that and really think about that this year because your next goal is talking about believe in the impossible.
Okay.
And I think this is going to be like a really good year to work on you and kind of like what makes you happy.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
So I have I work for I live in Wisconsin and I work for the state
mhm,
uh in the Department of Corrections.
mhm, mhm.
And like my dream job would be to own a greenhouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
So,
like super, and I've worked for the state for 15 years and I'm like super comfortable with obviously the salary and the benefits because we need benefits, right?
yeah.
And like super happy with it, but like you talk about like not unrealistic because anything is realistic. But
Yeah.
like
You have to
so
hustle hard enough for it.
yeah, but like that would be like that's like a really kind of tucked away dream would be like if I could make money and have what I have now or more, like it'd be a greenhouse in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah. So as you were talking, I did pull a card for you, and I think that's where we go into having these practical plans like from
Mhm.
earlier. Because I think it's time for you to start like making these plans for the greenhouse. And you know, maybe it's just a small like it just starts off small and then it expands. Somebody comes in and says you really just only need one really good one. Like it's almost like I don't know if they have them in Wisconsin because you're in Wisconsin, right? Um, like because I'm in the South on the East Coast, so they have like these little fruit stands
Mhm.
on the corners.
Right.
Some of them have like fall decorations and they change their stuff out. It's almost like you need something like
Like
that.
farmers market that I
Yeah,
take like
like
yeah.
you need something like that, but in a downtown space. Like it, you have the potential for that to be like really, really good. Um,
Okay.
because you did pull the sun, which is an indicator of two different possibilities. The answer whenever you pull the sun is always yes, that you can have that. You're just gonna have to really work hard and kind of squirrel away the money for that. Somebody's talking about land grants. So I think in 2025, maybe you can see if there's like any type of grants or anything where you can get funding to secure that corner store, farmers market, whatever your plan is for that. I would start looking into that aspect of it
Okay.
just to see, like research what you could qualify for, what you could get.
Yeah.
Because somebody's really strongly talking about grant funding. Like, I think you will find a way to get it funded where you're not like, oh my God, I have to use my house as collateral type of thing,
Right. Okay.
you know? But I
Yeah.
think you are. I see you kind of older, happier in a space kind of like that.
Okay.
in overalls, with, like a straw hat, like passing out.
Yeah, that, that would be my dream.
Passing out plants and stuff to
Right.
people. I see it have like a little fireplace in the winter so people can come and chill and hang out, like a good, it's kind of like a family spot, like a good family spot, and where people can also like buy plants and stuff.
Okay. Super cool.
Like I think it's gonna be really, really good for you. I think you'll have it within the next 5 years if you get serious about it.
Okay.
I think it's gonna fall into place. You have to work for it to fall into place.
Right.
Obviously, it doesn't fall out of the fucking sky.
Right.
Um, but if you just keep your eyes open and peeled, I think you're gonna have that come into fruition. Now, also, I do want to talk about, I don't know what your feelings are on this, and that's fine. The sun is also very indicative that if you are trying to get into a serious relationship, there is a possibility of kids coming forth.
So I'm in a relationship,
Okay.
um, and I I have a daughter, and this relationship, like there when they're like I don't want any more kiddos. And my relationship right now is probably been the hardest like factor of life right now. Just kind of the last
Doesn't he?
what?
Does this person want some kids?
No, no, he's fixed,
That's
and he has older children. They're like grown-ups. They're in their 20s. My daughter's 7. And it's just like the last couple weeks, he's going through stuff in life right now that I'm like feeling like I'm questioning things. And I don't know if he is there's been the thought of is he being unfaithful? Does I almost feel like he's pushing me away, like he doesn't want to be the one to end it. I don't know if it's what he's going through and he does love me. And it's just, I don't know.
okay. Well, I just pulled some cards for that. As we're going through the reading, like is he being like unfaithful? I am listening. I don't think it's like an unfaithful as in like he's fucking other people, but it feels like emotionally he's because there's different layers to being unfaithful, right?
Right?
I think emotionally he's really far removed, but it also feels like there's a lot of stress and pressure happening with him. Is there like a large, like not a large? He's definitely older than you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay.
Yes.
So, it's almost like he lives a very different life than you because his kids are grown, like, and you're still like in the early childhood years, and he's just like, I've already fucking done it. Like, what am I doing here? Um, so I would say that, I mean, you did pull the hermaphrodite, like your feelings are valid. And I do think there is something going on that's a little unseen. And the only way that you're going to really find true answers is if you rip off the band-aid and be like, what's up? Do you really
So,
want to be here or do you not?
so when I've asked that to him, because he, like I said, he's just in a really dark season right now and
Mhm.
he's having a really hard time with it. And to the fact that he's even made like some suicidal comments that,
Mhm.
like, I don't think he wants to die. I think he just doesn't want to live like this right now, because of what's going on.
Are him
And
and his children estranged? I'm seeing the word like estranged, like they just aren't, something's happening over there where they're not communicating correctly, or somebody's been wronged. Like it just doesn't feel like the family unit is happy on that side.
so him and his kids have a fine relationship. He's going through divorce.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like he's been separated for a long time. Like I wasn't a mistress, but it's been taking a really long time to end. It's obviously a financial fight.
Oh yeah, because they want the inheritance or money, whatever the house is.
Yeah,
and
it's
everybody wanted a piece of that. It got nasty. It feels like it got nasty really quick.
yeah. So the kids are like his daughters are supporting him. They actually don't talk to the mother at all.
Yeah,
Uh,
so okay, that makes sense. That's where the estrangement is. Okay.
and they're very supportive of him. And like the other night I tried talking to him. He had a divorce hearing on Thursday, and I tried talking to him, and he told me all day he just needed to be alone. And I was like, well, I'm here when you're ready.
Hmm.
He did call me, and he had accused me of not paying attention to him, and he hung up on me. Well, then I went to go pick up my daughter, and while I was doing that, I was on the phone with his daughter, and his daughter was like really upset, worried about him because of some of the borderline suicidal comments he had made. He must have checked my location, and where I was parked waiting for my daughter at gymnastics, there's a bar across the street. So he thought here I was partying it up, drinking at the bar on the night of his divorce hearing when he needed me, but I wasn't. I was on the phone with his daughter, who was really concerned. And so then he had literally sent me a message saying it sucks that I had to go elsewhere to get shit off my chest. And now like I am like in this anxious place, like, and he admitted that it was a woman from work that he called. And now I'm just like sick to my stomach, and I'm in this place where I'm checking how many snaps he sends, and I'm like sitting around waiting for my phone to ring, and it's like I feel like is it, and he often accuses me of flirting or talking to other people, and I haven't talked to a soul since like I mean like in an inappropriate way. And so it's just like all of that, and then like we're supposed to see each other tomorrow night, and he's kind of I felt like trying to cancel it. He texted me last night and said, I can't handle any more pressure right now. I'll give you answers. Like I'll be able to answer questions when like I'm literally at a breaking like feel like I'm breaking down right now. I feel like I'm having a meltdown. But then it's like, what does he mean that those questions? Like what questions? Like if he wants to be with me, like is he unsure if he wants me right now? Like
Hmm.
that's kind of where I'm at. And I think it's hard for me because it was so good. And it's like I just want to know if he wants it to be over. And
So
if there's somebody else, like is he crossing a line?
yeah.
Or
Um,
was or like my guy friend doesn't even think he called a woman. My guy friend feels like
thinks
that
he's emotionally manipulative.
that's his greatest fear is that I would reach out to another man. And so he's trying to throw it on me, make his fears my fears.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just was hoping that we could like spend time kind of divulging that because I don't know what to do. Like I don't want to be in this, and I know you're not the end all be all to tell me if I should be in this relationship. But if you were able to pick up on something, if my intuition is correct, if I'm in an anxious brain.
Yeah. No. So first of all, I just want to say that I don't think you're in an anxious brain. All right. So from what I'm hearing, what I'm feeling, from what I'm seeing and pulling from the cards, and I'll show them to you, like, first of all, I think if I were to be completely honest, I think he was exactly this way with his wife. If you ever had a real sit down, honest conversation, I feel like he was like this with his wife. Everything was her fault, and everything was like, well, are you doing this? Um, I don't think he ever cheated on his wife. I just feel like there's like a big void, and he's always had this void, and he uses a lot of different things to kind of fill it. And right now he's like, oh fuck, like I really can't go back. Oh shit, like it's really over. It's Men grieve like different things so much later in life. Like that's why whenever a woman does get divorced, like before she's even signed the ink, she's already free. And that's kind of how that rolls. And for women, I feel like we just have a better bounce back rate than any man ever will. So I do want to talk about the suicidal thoughts for a minute. So he pulled the Ten of Swords. Like I think he legitimately does have these thoughts. I think he has some type of like either mental disorder where he's like bipolar and goes really down really quickly, or I'm hearing the word like undiagnosed. Like whatever he has, like he doesn't have a formal diagnosis on it. And I think this divorce, like the finalization of it, huge trigger. I definitely think he is kind of gaslighting you. If he looked at a map, he would have known. that you were not at the bar, that you were there. That he's losing map skills here. Come on.
Well, in his defense, it was Snapchat, and so it probably
Doesn't
it
have the best location on it.
well, and the gymnastics. I live in a very rural community, and the gymnastics, and I wasn't there. Like my daughter doesn't go to gymnastics anymore. I was there because my best friend, her daughter goes, and she had picked up my kiddo for me because I had to work late. So he probably, in his defense, like, because where I was parked was kind of close, because I was afraid I was going to lose reception. So I could have seen why it looked like that. But yeah, but we can make fun of him for that.
I am. I am. I am, because that wasn't even like, that didn't even need to be anything accusatory. He could have just been like, send me a picture. And he could have obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there's a million ways he could have played that. And he chose to try and gaslight you for,
Or, so what if I was at the bar? You just hung up on me, you fucker. Like, do you know
yeah.
what I mean? But I wasn't at the bar. But what if I would have been? So fucking what? Right?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally your prerogative. Can't
Mhm.
speak this morning. It's your you know what I mean. You can do what you want with your time, and you were trying to be respectful in the moment. And if and when you guys have this conversation, I would remind him of that. Just be like, our meeting is going to end in 10 minutes, just so you know, and we'll go into the next one. And you can just be like, hey, I was trying to be supportive of you and I backed off, because that's originally what you said. Go in with receipts if you have them. If you have that in text, I'd be like, this is what you said.
Right.
Was my action trying to support you. I'm here to support you in whatever way you need. I'm not intentionally ignoring you. But let's go back to like, is he in this or is he not in this? So the Eight of Cups comes in, and whenever we are just juggling too much shit and we are stressed and we need to rest. And I think he needs to chill the fuck out. Like, I think he does need a personal break. Because that's where all of this erratic behavior is coming in. And he can choose to take that break, and he can choose to not take that break. That's going to be up to him. However, I don't see it getting much better for him mentally if he doesn't figure out some type of balance. Like, the house is gone, the marriage is done. He needs to make his peace with that. Like, right? Like, cut your money and take the loss, take the hell. You're going to be okay in the end. Things can be replaced, relationships kind of can't be. And it feels like he was just kind of holding on to those material things because he didn't think he was going to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And now the reality is sitting in that he did lose. And that sucks. Like, that hurts your pride. That does suck. Um, is he being unfaithful? I don't think he's being unfaithful. I think he's emotionally manipulative, and I don't know if that's going to change. I think he's always been that way. I don't think he's like that with his kids because they don't push his buttons like that. It's anybody, I think it's anybody he has a sexual relationship with. And that's what it feels like to me, because he needs whatever that attention is, he needs it. There's like a void he uses that to fill.
Do you don't think he's having a sexual relationship with anybody else?
I see the word no. I don't think so. I think he does have like maybe people that he speaks to at work about his like divorce and things. Like, he has like a venting buddy, but I don't think it doesn't feel like it's turned sexual yet.
Is he interested in anybody else romantically?
No, I don't think so.
Does he want to be with me?
It feels like he does. He wants like, they use a very possessive word. Like, he wants ownership of you. Like, he wants you, but he also doesn't want anyone else to have you. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Does that align with some of his like past behaviors a little bit?
Yeah. Is he talking inappropriate to other women on Snapchat? Like when is what?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because those messages disappear. Yeah, I think there's different.
Appropriate, like inappropriate, like in a sexual manner, you think?
I mean, I can tell you what I see. I see like inappropriate like dick pics. Um,
I
but
can't see him doing that because it took a long time to get the man to send me a dick pic because he's very like old school and prim and proper and had been married for 25 years and was like, "What's this?" So like I can't see him sending dick pics, but I do know like he's been overly focused on like my Snapchat and I have nobody left. Like I literally have deleted. I have him and like two cousins that are males on mine.
yeah,
And I know he has like all these streaks. And so when he sends me like, okay, he works out every morning and he sends me like a workout picture. Like I'm starting, and I hate this because I've never been like this way. I start to find myself like, how many people did he send that to? And I asked him once, I'm like, do you send those pictures to other people? And he's like, not the workout ones. And he's like, I send them just to you. But I feel like he has to be sending them to other people.
yeah. If his streaks are so high, because isn't that I haven't used Snapchat in years, but isn't that how you get them up by like sharing, snapping?
Yeah, but sometimes, like, okay, sometimes just to keep our streak because it's important to him, I don't know, he'll send me a picture of the road. Do you know what I mean? So, like, not necessarily like, do I know that he's at least snapping those people at least one snap a day to keep the streak? But I mean, like, the ones that I think are meant for me, are they going to a bunch of other people too?
I think some are and some aren't.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think it's a little bit of both.
But
To
he's not interested in these other people.
It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's mostly attention. So you know how like whenever you're first talking to somebody and it's new and it's fresh, it's kind of like every time you get an interaction, you get a dopamine rush. I feel like that's what he's kind of addicted to.
But do I not give him that rush anymore?
I think you do. I think you do. However, it's the rush that comes from multiple people. It's almost like he's a little addicted just to like talking to people. I think this guy is like he's got a lot of layers. I think he's really, really lonely. And where something seems a little like shady and inappropriate, he doesn't see it as shady and inappropriate. Like I think he's like you're saying he's old school. I think he's like kind of ignorant to because he's a little bit older than you. So he's just like, that's not that inappropriate. Like I'm just talking to her. We're just
But
talking.
if I was doing it.
Yes. Oh yes, because he's possessive over you. Because you're young and you're pretty and he's like, well, she can get whatever she wants. Why is she here with me? Like it's a whole
But
you see
then
what I'm saying? It's like a cycle. It's like a cycle because
does
he swings so back and forth.
does he love me?
I think he does. I think he does in a way because he did pull the Two of Pentacles, and I think what's going to clear it up is having a really open and honest conversation because you guys are so out of balance. He's dealing with his shit, and you're like over here feeling gaslit in the dark, right? And I think you just need to have an open and honest talk, and you're not going to have that over the phone. Like I feel like it's going to have to be in person. But after that talk, you pull the Seven of Cups, and it looks like things are still going to continue to be a little rocky until he kind of finds a balance. Like you're the one that has to decide, like, do I want to deal with this or do I not want to not deal with this? I think your intuition is right. Like intuition, especially a woman's intuition, is never wrong. First of all, I don't think you're crazy. I do not think you're crazy. However, I do think you're not going to have anything resolved until you can sit him down in person.
Right.
And you're going to have to be the one to initiate that.
Do you see this as a long-term relationship? Like he used to talk about like, and I know it sounds crazy because he's still married, but I mean we've been together a long time and his divorce has been taking forever. But like he used to like make comments like, about wanting to like marry me again, marry me, like, and I'm divorced and I don't know how I feel. Like I don't know if I feel the need to be married again, but I definitely want one person. So I guess like, do you see this being like the relationship for me?
We can pull another card for that. So you did pull the Emperor. I mean, this can have the potential to be a good fit for you because he can be somebody that is steady whenever he has his shit together. Um, this does have a good outcome if he can get his mental health in check. But if he can't, then I think you're gonna have to make a choice of whether or not you want to continuously sacrifice your mental health and
Right.
in this kind of relationship. I think he's traditional and I think like having the ring and the piece of paper are really important to him. And that's why like going through this loss is kind of taking him like he knew it was going to happen, but like also he was a little unprepared at the same time. Does that make sense?
Does he blame me for what he's going through right now? Because so they were separated, but I like pushed for him to